I don't know if you know this, but I was trained as a chef. I cooked in England before I came to Canada. When I got married, in Montreal in 1981, Norma and I opened a restaurant on Sherbrooke Street. We were open for business for 8 years, then we came to BC. I always liked cooking duck, which was the most expensive meal on our menu. I love cooking duck, and the smell of duck stock simmering on the stove has always had a special significance to me. Especially in the winter.
Podcast recorders, contributors, just about to take you on a new trail, and it's a dry shoe option to my usual run route. It's the same distance near enough, but when I come out at the goalpost, I cross Glendenning. To the other side, there's another trail that goes down. I call it the dry shoe option because last week when I did the bog challenge, there was a section where I got my shoes pretty muddy. That was right at the beginning, so I spent the rest of the morning with one soggy shoe. Not the best plan. Anyway, I'm guessing I'm about 12 or 13 minutes into this run. I have Samantha turned way down. I can't even hear her. But hopefully she won't be too disruptive. So this is a connector trail that takes me from Glendenning to the meadows, skipping past the swampy section. Two runners coming this way, plus a man with a dog. Hello. Hi, doggy. Come on by. All right. The two runners carried on towards Glendenning to my left. I'm now on the trail they were on, but I'm going in the opposite direction from them. It starts to get steep pretty soon, so I shall hike a little bit, because I still have about 75 minutes to do today. I'm recording this inside my sweatshirt. I'm not holding the phone. That is one way of eliminating arm swing noise. The other way is to put it in a sock, literally in a sock. That way the wind is much less of a feature, regardless of which direction you're heading in. So this will be bog challenge number 4, where I'll try and get as close to the halfway point on the bog loop to be able to one day close it off and run the whole thing in 90 minutes. The bog is, by definition, one of the lowest spots on this little bit of sandage. So far so good. My shoes are dry. I have passed on the message for those prepared to take the challenge of recording while running. Good luck to you all, and depending on how quickly we fill up, I will either post in the middle of February or the beginning of March, but I'm thinking more like a week and a half from now, 10 days or so, as I step through gingerly a little bit of a creek bed, but there are enough rocks on either side to make my mission to stay dry successful. Alright, so I think I should be listening to Samantha, so I'm going to say goodbye to you guys and carry on in silence, relative silence.
When I buy a chicken, I buy a whole chicken and then I cut it up and use it different ways. When it's winter, what I'll do is I will buy a whole chicken, I'll cut it up, I'll use the thighs, drumsticks, and the chicken breast meat for something else, and then I'll take everything else and I'll put it in a big stock pot and make chicken stock, and then I'll make the chicken stock into chicken noodle soup, and I love that for on a winter day.
Well, hello, Carlos, and all of the listeners. And this is my 5 minutes. First of all, I'm going to start with an apology. An apology to Carlos, because my submissions for this particular podcast are few and far between. And although I feel guilty about that, I feel even more guilty given the fact that Carlos is always such a rock star when it comes to sending me submissions for my podcast. So, Carlos, I apologize, and I will try to improve that. I'm out for a walk today, and the idea for my 5 minutes came from the fact that Carlos asked me a question over at Strava, on my account at Strava. And what prompted his question was he looked at one of my walks in Strava. And as I recall, that particular walk was about 5 miles. Most of my outings today, whether they're a walk or a run, are 5 miles. It just happens to be a good distance for me. I get a good workout, and it is the loop in my neighborhood, so I do it a lot. But anyway, I added this to Strava, and he noticed that my pace for this walk was something like 1440 or 1445. I know it was in the 14s. I don't remember exactly. So it prompted the question, there's a comment, hey, it's a pretty fast walk. Are you doing any running during your walks? So I thought I would take a minute and define what my walks are these days. And it was such a good question that Carlos asked me that I very well may discuss the topic over at the podcast I do as well. But anyway, I rarely run these days more than 2 days in a row. I feel amazing. My health-wise, I'm pretty much perfect. So it's not because of that. I had an artificial hip installed. It's coming up on 3 years ago, actually. And so I am a little hesitant about doing as much running as I used to do. So my schedule's been run a couple days, walk a day, run a couple days, walk a day, or something like that. But never more running than 2 days in a row. You know, I don't know if it's doing me any good, but I do enjoy my walks, first of all. So I'm not giving up anything as far as my pleasure. Plus, in my tiny little head, it does reduce the stress on my artificial hip and also my God-given hip that I'd rather not have to get rid of either. But that said, when I go out for a walk, quite some time ago, I guess because I'm competitive or what, but I always want to get a decent workout in. And to me, that means sweating, and it means getting my heart rate up. And although I know some of you can actually walk a 15-minute mile, I cannot. I am not certain I could walk a 15-minute half a mile, just one, much less string together a 5-mile walk. So what I started doing some time ago was adding very short run breaks to my walks. Kind of the opposite of run, walk, run, and more like walk, run, walk. So I have a couple of workouts. One of them is I set my timer for a 2-minute walk and then I run for 30 seconds. And the other one, depending on how I feel, is 90-second walk and a 30-second run. And that's actually what I'm doing today, and I'm sure you can tell when I hit my run breaks. I'm a terrible running and talker. Carlos, you're really, really good at that. I'm not. So see, I'm on a run break now. And depending on how I feel, I can adjust these run breaks as well. 2 days ago, I felt really, really, really good, and the weather was great. So on my 30-second run breaks, I almost went all out. I would say I was on an 8 out of 10 on my run breaks. And I think I was able to actually get my pace down to like 14:30s. Today I'm on a normal walk. I'm actually at a 14:46. I just looked. Anyway, I guess that prompts the question, what do you call a walk? Because I know some of you are probably thinking, well, Kevin, if I did a 90-second walk and a 30-second run, I'd still call that a run. And I get that. It's just that I want to be able to look back and see which one of those workouts I was really doing. So I call these a walk. No matter how fast I do the run part, 1.5 minutes is always enough time to get my heart rate down so that I'm ready to go for the next one. Anyway, that's all I got. Those are my closer to 6 minutes. And I apologize for going overboard, but I guess I'm catching up, huh? Thanks for the question and prompting my brain to think a little bit, Carlos. I appreciate it. Y'all take care.
Hey Carlos, it's Brad. I'm doing some power walking and doing incline on the treadmill here, and I'm curious of what kind of speeds you would power walk when you're doing your ultras at Halliburton. What were you probably walking like? What? I don't know what speed. Maybe you could let me know. Okay, cheers.
Okay, today in Minnesota it is really cold, so I am on the treadmill, which, I have a love and hate relationship with. I kind of call it the dreadmill because I much prefer to be outside in nature, but I just can't today. It's just too cold. So I am walking right now, just doing my warm-up. I usually do about 5 minutes of warm-up before I actually start my run. So my training week kind of looks like this. On Saturdays, I do an easy run. On Sundays, I go long, so I'm supposed to do 14 miles tomorrow. But on the treadmill, I may be breaking it up into 3.5 miles 4 times during the day. We'll see. It's really hard to go much longer than 5 miles on a treadmill. So I'm standing here on my treadmill we have like a home gym, and I can see the snow outside. It's crisp, bright, sunny, windy. So the snow is kind of swirling around outside in a very cold-looking manner. But it is sunny, so it looks bright. So you would kind of think it might be okay out there, but it is very crisp out there. So in my household, basically, we have 3 people. My husband of 38 years, my daughter, who is 36 years old, and studying to be a doctor of plant pathology. So that is kind of what she's doing. We are all currently working from home, which is very interesting. Luckily, we have a 3-level house, so we each have a floor during the day while we work. Kind of interesting times since we've been home since March and still doing it. And we also love to cook, so we kind of share the cooking. We kind of each take a few days of the week. We try to make leftovers so we don't have to eat whole, or we don't have to make new things too often. So it's really based on our schedules, who's busy, who's not. But we like to try new foods, new things. So this morning we had an amazing breakfast, which included, it was in a cast iron pan, and it had everything bagels with cream cheese egg batter that you put in it with some chives and mushrooms and onions, and then you put the other bagel on top, and then in each hole of the bagel you put an egg on the top. So kind of like a over easy egg, and you bake this in the oven until the over easy eggs are done. Delicious. Also made some homemade banana bread today, which we will enjoy for a while. I'm going to freeze a couple of loaves and keep one out for breakfast. So that's kind of how we do it. We share our cooking, and we like to try new recipes, new things. So we make Asian food, Indian food, American food, all kinds of different food, because it's fun for us. So as you can tell, you could probably hear the treadmill kind of buzzing. It is on the 2nd floor of the house, so my daughter's bedroom is right below it, so she really loves when we're on the treadmill, especially early in the morning. Kind of funny, but she says it kind of isn't too bad unless she's on a call for work, but we try to make sure that doesn't happen. We all use the treadmill, so that's nice. We all enjoy walking, hiking. I particularly love to run. My husband and daughter don't. They just walk, but they enjoy the treadmill because it has that iFit. So it has scenes you can walk through with trainers, and they enjoy that. So that is all I have for today. I'm going to bump up the speed here and get ready for my new week of training that starts with my long run tomorrow. And then I do some speed work and some easy runs and start all over again. 30 to 40 miles a week is typically what I get. So with that, I'm going to say that's all for this episode from me.
Good morning, Wednesday, here in Holmes's Cove. We're going to do another 20K today, and then probably get on the roller and then do some core work. And it's so pretty here today with the bright sunshine and high tide and everything. So I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you on the other side of 20K. Okay, cheers.
Well, hello, Carlos. This is Just Plain Dave in southeastern Massachusetts. And what you just heard there a moment ago is the sound of the water cascading over the top of the Village Dam in Swansea, Massachusetts. There's a small stream that feeds a pond held by that dam which a couple hundred years ago would have been a power supply for old mills and factories. And I am doing a lovely walk in the woods with my brown dog. We're currently in a spot. Come here, brown dog. Come here. Come here. Come. We are currently in a spot that is mostly tree covered, and so the leaves are still exposed on the forest floor. But we've had a bunch of snow, and so So I am enjoying the first flakes of a big old winter storm right now. My thoughts today were about, I see someone out on the ice. Not sure that's actually safe. Actually, I'm sure it's safe. Doesn't look like fun. They're not wearing skates. They're just out in cold weather gear. What was I going to say? Oh, first flakes of a snowstorm. So I actually didn't go for a run today. I opted to go for a walk in the woods because there was a winter storm warning that started at 7 a.m. And I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I don't want to be caught out running on the roads in a winter storm. And here it is, 10 a.m., 3 hours later, and the snow is just starting. Now, it's starting pretty heavily, so it's clearly, once it comes, it's going to come for real, and it'll probably coat the ground and make footing pretty treacherous. It's really icy right now. I am wearing my Ultra Lone Peak trail shoes. They're nice and grippy on the ice. But, I've realized that I'm doing a very good job in the last couple weeks of getting out and visiting the woods, spending some time on the trails. So today, I am in Village Park in Swansea, Massachusetts, and there's a great network of mountain bike trails. The mountain bikers do an excellent job of prepping trails and clearing them and maintaining them, and because for them, it's all about technical, right? Like how many curves, how many rocks, how many roots, how many stumps can we go over? And so the trails tend to be really zigzaggy and curvy and circuitous. You know, they want to make the trail as long as possible in a small area of woods. I like that. I think that's a great thing for the mountain bikers. Earlier this weekend, I went for a hike with a couple of friends. And this has become my goal, is once a week, get out for a hike with 1, 2, or 3 friends out in the woods. Keep a little bit of separation for safety's sake, but conversation and connection, because it's really too easy right now to spend a week and barely interact with other people in person. So earlier this weekend, went for a hike in Freetown State Forest, which is in the town of Assonet, Massachusetts, southeastern Mass, not too far from Fall River. Beautiful set of woods, great big trails, and it's crisscrossed by old fire roads, which were really icy, so we tried to get off the fire roads and again onto mountain bike trails. And all the trails look the same, and none of them have names. So where I am now in Swansea, there's signs, at least you can kind of know when you're hitting a new trail. But in Freetown, no signs, none at all. We just see the occasional blue triangle blaze. I'm like, I don't remember the last time I saw a blaze. I'm not sure what those blazes connect. Let's see. And then earlier, last week, we went to the Hale Reservation, Hale, Hale, in Westwood, Mass, right on the town line between Westwood and Dover, Massachusetts, outside of Route 128. And that was lovely. We had a lot of snow, so that was more of a walk in the snow than a hike in the woods. But it was beautiful. It was a really nice place to get out into the forest. And I can't remember, where else have I been? It feels like I'm doing a good job of visiting our different trails and appreciating the time in the woods. Right now I'm on a path that's entirely oak leaves. And the snow is coming down. It's really, really big, fat snowflakes. And it's beautiful. And I think I will appreciate the quiet and the time with my brown dog in the woods. So, from southeastern Massachusetts, this is just plain Dave. Happy trails.
So good morning, everybody. This is Carlos, the hiking jackal. I'm not running today. I did that yesterday, and I will do that again tomorrow. Today is frigid. Today is -2 Celsius, and with the wind chill, it feels like -6. We have had a snow warning in effect for the next few days, but depending on how dry the air is, we will either get snow or we'll just get cold. I missed that. She said something, but I missed it. Okay, so this is my recording of the epilogue, the final carriage on our train, the Your 5 Minutes 2021 series number 4. I think it's number 4. I get confused now. Number 3. That's right. Number 3. And it's going to be my bog challenge tomorrow, which will be number 5, I think. But that's another story. Alright, so thank you for all the contributions that I have had, plus a few little snippets of culinary and training from Brad and from Martha.
Average pace 9 minutes 16 seconds per kilometer. Workout average pace 9 minutes 28 seconds per kilometer.
I'm in the middle of a 12-kilometer speed hike. I'm taking the rail trail, Lockside, which will take me past Roy's statue. I won't get too much out of Roy today. He's never very talkative, but today, being so cold, his jaw has probably frozen. I took my glove off and I lowered my visor, my face covering, to be able to speak a little clearer to you. But as soon as I finish this recording, it will go on again. My glove and my mouth covering, my neck warmer will be pulled up over my nose. Okay, so this
57 minutes.
57.
6.01 kilometers. Average pace 9 minutes 20 seconds per kilometer. Workout average pace 9 minutes 28 seconds per kilometer.
9 minutes 28. And the first pace was current pace, so I'm now going faster than 9:28. So it should come down to 9:27 pretty soon. There is a difference between the noise of the wind and wind noise. The noise of the wind, if it's behind you, is just distant wind. If you're going into the wind without a wind filter on your recording device, you will hear a howl as the wind blows across the little holes of the microphone. This is not desirable. That's why I'm saying, if you don't have a good wind filter, have the wind behind you like I have now. You will hear noise of wind, but you won't hear wind noise. 9:27. See, I told you it was coming down. Very soon I'm going to be at Roy's Bridge, but by then I probably would have stopped recording. There is the noise of the wind. I think my next reminder is going to be the hour of walking. This is kind of the wind that reminds you of how bare skin gets frozen in so many minutes. It's a bit like the sunburn factor. How many minutes you can bear before the sun starts to burn your skin. Well, wind chill is the opposite. Wind chill is the amount of time your bare skin can bear before you start getting frozen fingers. I can just about hold on for one more minute, which will give me the hour of recording, the hour of hiking, which is past the halfway mark. it'll be halfway in time, but I know from the distance that I'm going faster than my anticipated pace, which is good. My walking is so much better than my running these days. I do what I like doing, and I like doing what I do well, so fast walking is something that I have become quite good at. I see a couple of people up ahead with dogs. I think they're coming towards me.
Time 1 hour. Distance 6.34 kilometers. Average pace 9 minutes 17 seconds per kilometer. Workout average pace 9 minutes 27 seconds per kilometer. Time for hydration. Halfway to your goal.
Well, there you go. You hear everything all in one shot. Well, all that remains for me now is to say goodbye to you and to thank all the contributors to this episode. And stay tuned, as they say. I will be posting another one in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.